let's take a look at how the markets are performing on this day. The local currency is under pressure so far today, trading at 15.75 against the US dollar resistance level. The rate hike seems to have done little to offset the rand weakness against the greenback. But for a more in-depth update on the latest market developments, we're joined now by Petri Redelinghuys, the trader and founder of Herenya Capital Advisors. Good to have you with us once again, Mr. Redelinghuys. If you could give us a sense of how the markets are trading so far today, and this particularly what is driving up the rand slump.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. So the market is off to a decent start. We're up around 0.5% on the all-share index, so a relatively good start to the day. However, trading volume does seem a bit muted. It's a very quiet day. I think we're entering into that phase of the year where people start winding down, and generally trading volumes tend to taper off sort of around the end of November and last until, at very low levels until sort of midway through January. So it does seem to be calming down and gearing up for Christmas, if you will. But otherwise, it's been a fairly decent day. I think the rand, it's a little bit on the back foot today, as you mentioned. However, a lot of that move happened on Friday, so we are around 0.2% weaker versus the dollar. But much of that move, that drastic move way to this 15.75 level, took place on Friday. And I think what's really happening is we're starting to see a bit of rationalization around the fact that, interest or at least inflation in the US and globally at this stage is not necessarily transfer. And that leads people to seek safety, right? So they're sort of to dollars, and that's putting a little bit of pressure on our currency as well as other. It's interesting, we also saw, I think it was Turkey, actually, so they had a really tough time with Turkey. And that, I think, is interesting to see how we increased interest rates last week and our rand weakened on that. Nonetheless, perhaps expecting a slightly higher sort of increase rather than 5 points, maybe 50 basis points, and that hasn't really done much to, I suppose, curb the weakness of the rand. We are heading towards that 16. I think once we get there, we might take a bit of a stop. And sort of
unfortunately, Petri, we're going to have to cut our time together short today. Our audio there not good at all, so you were literally just coming in and out and we weren't hearing you very well. But we thank you nonetheless for your time this afternoon. That's Petri Redelinghuys, a bit of an issue there with the sound.